Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
Quiet morning really here today as S&P futures just trading down a quarter of a point, but Warren Buffett has been on CNBC for a couple of hours and he's been talking about some stocks here. We're going to get to those in just a second, but let's start with his brick.b.
Reported earnings on Friday. Nice move in the stock. We'll take a look at what it did in the after hours. Initially got a spike up here over 112. In fact, we got the 112.64 kind of settling in here, currently trading up at 111 up 236. This stock has been a little bit of a lagger here over the course of the last year or so. People not really tapping into the value. But has a nice move here today. Let's go a little bit farther out here. Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong, Joel. I was going to say, this stock's been marching. Yeah, Brick B, both obviously the Brick A, Brick B. I don't think anybody trades the Brick A because it's just too expensive. But the Brick B does get obviously lots of volume. And they did report the earnings were $1.53 versus $1.33. This is obviously a new 52-week high that's going to open at here this morning, trading over 111. So Buffett's been doing a lot of things right, and people still listen to Buffett too. So we've been taking notes here as he's been on CNBC. One comment that he made was on Wells Fargo, saying it's still one of his biggest positions here, Joel. I'm going to tell you, though, this $38 level, absolutely enormous for Wells. Actually, I can see over 100,000 shares dumping there on the New York Stock Exchange, and 38's just been a huge technical level, too. So obviously $38 is going to be big today.
Right, it's kind of sneaking up there in the pre-market, up 16 cents. Trading at Friday's high, which was 37.92. Snuck over 38 on Tuesday of last week, got to 38.04 before it got beat back down. So the size is lining up there. Obviously, after that 34 level, you have the recent high of the move here at 38.20 on March 15th. So we'll be keeping an eye on that level, but we talk about getting the running start here. Well, it's settled at 37.74, currently trading at 92, so doesn't have that far to go away to take out the size here, but kind of have a flat market, so might take another day or two.
It could nibble its way up there through at the open. Watch it at the open and see, if it opens strong and starts to give back, or if it opens strong and tries to take that 38 number out. But that's like the key swing number, and that's going to be the bogey here today. He also mentioned that IBM is not as bulletproof as Coke. So actually, when he was mentioning Coca-Cola, okay, you can start with the IBM. IBM chart is just traded 1,600 shares. It's slightly down here. So he didn't say he didn't like IBM. He just said he liked Coke more than IBM when they were asking about it. IBM just slightly down, but IBM has been on a march. We've been talking about how some of the market laggards had started coming back basically 6 or 7 trading sessions ago. That continued on Friday, and IBM was up strong with the overall market.
Yeah, gapped up, never looked back here. Trying to fill the gap with a gap on a gap day. That makes a lot of sense.
Gaps all over
this was the earning debacle here. Well, the low was 206.15. Snuck up to that area on Friday, got a 205.32. So I still think that's going to be some pretty good resistance at the 206 level. Coming back on the downside, if you caught this run at all here and you're getting a little scared off by Warren's comments, below 203.75, really no support for a point and a quarter down to 202.43. So a couple good levels to keep an eye on, and IBM, it really has recovered from that earnings mess.
Yeah, the whole thing has pretty much got back now. And Coca-Cola has formed a big top here. This 42.50 area has been tough. It is up a little bit here on the Buffett comments. It was ticking up for 42.41 in the pre-market, as obviously Buffett said he liked this better than IBM. 42.5 is big, though. This whole area here, basically, if you look back from the last 2.5 weeks, we've been trading pretty much between 42 and 43. Midpoint of that 42.5. I think you'll have some institutional resistance in that area.
Right, that did make the all-time high, 42.96, ahead of a nice, round number like 43. But really, over the past 6-7 trading sessions, 41.5 to 42.5 has been the trading range. Kind of moving up proportions on that. Even on Friday with the good jobs number, couldn't clear that 42.50 level. So we'll keep an eye on that, and then if we ever break below 41.50 here, have a minor support level, 41.25, but a gap to fill down at 41. But a lot of consolidation here in Coke. I wonder if Warren's drinking more than 6 a day. Maybe he's gone up to 7 or 8.
Yeah, that may push it up through that 42.5 if he starts drinking those 8 Cokes. Let's go to a couple other earnings. Tyson Foods reported earnings here this morning. Joel, stock is breaking out. Well, it was breaking out, and now obviously selling off because they missed 36 cents versus 45. Very, very light volume. Only traded at 23.41. Traded down their 700 shares. So it's going to open, but it is offered down at 23.73, and nobody's lifting that offer. So it looks like it's going to open up in the 23 handle somewhere, which is a pretty major fall for a stock as big as Tyson. But that was a pretty major miss when you're reporting 36 cents against 45.
Yeah, they miss. I guess people aren't eating more chicken, or if they are, they're eating cheaper chicken or something. I don't know here. The 23 handle doesn't look like a real good trading area at all. You kind of blew through it on a couple occasions here. 23.41, I'll put you close to this low here. 24.37 low on April 18th. You also actually had 4 lows right in that 23.30 to 23.40 area. So I keep an eye on that as initial support. After that, you're looking down at this 22.50 low, but perhaps you get a little bounce here. Not much volume. I mean, this thing doesn't trade a ton of volume anyways. But being down on 600-700 shares, we just have someone out there just puking along here. But keep an eye on this initial support area.
Disney with Iron Man 3 this weekend is making another new 52-week high, breaking out here a little bit in the pre-market. It's trading up at 65.12 right now on 15,000 shares, so a little bit of volume. 65.07 is where it's bid right now, so it does look like Disney is going to take out that keyhole number possibly out the bat at 65. Just keeps marching, Disney.
Yeah, the House of Mouse 65.15 is what we've hit in the pre-market, and just consolidated between 65 and 65.15. Getting a little running start into those sellers at 65, 64.85 was a high on Friday, and I believe this is an all-time high for the stock as well. So just getting a nice run off the Iron Man, and the stock has just been on a tear. I think Goldman Sachs was talking favorably about it. So Disney doing everything right. ESPN, movies, they're on a roll.
They are on a roll. A couple upgrades here. JP Morgan is bullish Humana and UNH. Both of those stocks are trading up here in the pre-market. Humana, which has been on an interesting, had some interesting moves the last few days here, was just ticked up to 80 there, basically 3 or 4 days ago, and now it's back down at 74. It's getting a lift back up, so this whole 75 handle, or 75 to 80, has just been like air, all the way up, all the way down, cut through it 2 or 3 times here in the last month. It's getting back into that 75 area again. It's trading at 74.60 here in the pre-market.
What a yo-yo this thing has been.
Crazy.
Snuck under $74 on Friday. 73.63 was the low with the upgrade. Doesn't look like you're going to get a chance to buy it at that level, but if it does pull back to down to 74, I do like that area. I had the old top there before the gap and go. 73.63 as dimensions low on Friday, and then boom, if it come down this easy like that, it could always just go right back up there too. UNH getting the upgrade as well. This stock has been consolidating here, getting a little bit of a boost. Several highs here. 4 out of the last 5 highs between 60.38 and 60.49. Still a buck away from there, but perhaps it could be a target for a long. Then above that level, another double top to contend with at 65. But really, the 58 to 61 trading range has been holding up in the stock here for the better part of a couple weeks.
Cliffs Natural Resources getting upgraded FBR Capital. That stock is trading up 60 cents here in the pre-market. It came to life about 7 or 8 trading sessions ago. I think they reported earnings. I'm trying to remember what the reason. What do you remember? What the reason was for that big pop there?
Or someone disclosed a large stake.
Was that it? Was Soros? Yeah. Was this one Soros had a position?
No, Soros was messing around at J.C. Penney.
Oh yeah, Soros is J.C. Penney. So somebody else maybe on the Cliffs. I can't remember the news. We're so short-term traders. I can't remember the news from from 7 days ago. But regardless here, it did come to life here on the charts about 7 days ago. Started trading over 20. It's going to get back up over 20 here again, it looks like, in the pre-market or this morning. The high of the move has basically been up in this 22 area, so that's where there's major resistance. We're a long ways away from there, but there is quite a bit of air between 20 and 22 when I'm looking at the chart.
Yeah, 2064 has been the high of this little pre-market blip here, up 63 cents. The stock has got off the mat here after trading down under $17. 22 is the bogey here. You do have a 3-day high that will come into place first at 21.14, and then after that you got the 21.98 high from last week, and then we also bumped up against that level 22 on April 25th. So, if you're looking for the gap to be filled on it, you're going to have to wait till it comes back down to the $20 level. That's 50 cents away from now. But I think with the upgrade, some bids, we'll see some bidders out there at the nice round number 20. And look at this. This thing has just gotten lit up over, the past, since the beginning of the year, it's been cut in half. And then if you go back into earlier in 2012, this thing was at over $60. So maybe trying to get a little bit of this move back, but that can only go a buck at a time.
Apple, let's just talk about that because it had a very quiet session on Friday when we were up so much. I was looking at Apple. I was like, Apple's not participating here. So it seems like Apple likes to move counter. Now that the market's quiet, Apple's getting another 4.5 point pop. So it is breaking out over Friday's high in the pre-market. Friday's high was 453.20. This trading up at 454.40 right now. There's not really that much till 460. I think you're going to start to run into a little bit of trouble at 460, but it was a slow, quiet day for Apple on Friday.
Yeah, I mean it's really come back from this $400 level. Just the levels to keep an eye on. First of all, pre-market high. Someone has a little opinion here. 454.93 has been our high, so keep an eye on that if you're looking for follow through. Looking at the dailies here. Really weird day. It just gapped up, held a 4-point range. Apple just hardly ever does that. So, could look for a breakout. We are breaking out above Friday's high, so we're on the move. This high here is 456.80. That was a high on March 27th. Another gap to fill up to the 460.53 area. So, be interesting if it could just hold above this 450 here. Maybe it's got another leg up.
GLD, what do you think of the gold here, Joel? We're up a little bit here in the pre-market. I know Barrick's trading up about 30 cents here too, but gold has just basically, obviously, had a huge sell-off. We've rallied back at $100 basically, and now we're sitting here in the 142 area on the GLD, and we've consolidated here for 4 or 5 trading sessions in pretty tight range considering how volatile we were 2 weeks ago. Do you think this can continue its move higher here, or where do you think this is heading?
Well, there's a couple things here to point out. I mean, you are trading into some resistance. 142.47 Thursday's high, 42.71 Friday's high. You also had going back in the 43 handle. So from a technical perspective here, you've recouped all these losses here. You're back in, running into resistance here. I think if the fish can't bust out above the 144 level, I think we're going to come back and trade down, perhaps trade down to 140, even below. But why haven't the stocks really?
Miners.
I mean,
the
miners are just they're
dead money, man.
Dead money. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Barrick Gold's come back a little bit. It's slowly been trying to march back. I mean, I guess if you bought it at 17.5, you're happy that it's up at 20. But if you bought this thing a month ago up at 29, you're like, man, this is just, not good. And that's the problem. The thing, when stock loses 30% of its value that quickly, it's hard for these things to come back. The GLD, still, it's trades like a currency a little bit. Some of these miners, though, it's hard for these things to come back when they lose that much value.
Yeah, silver hasn't really rebounded as much either.
Silver hasn't nearly as much. No.
Yeah, that's running into major resistance here at the 2370 level. So a little bit of a pause here, and actually both of them at resistance. Silver is still far, far, far away from filling the gap that it had up to 2517. So I think if you're looking at this GLD, you just have to look at this, as you got caught in this down move here, here's an opportunity to lighten up a little bit.
Overall market thoughts after the big day we had on Friday there, Joel. The S&P futures very, very, very quiet here this morning, up a quarter of a point. Now, when we started the show, they were down a quarter. Now they're up a quarter,
Yeah.
so we're about a half-point range since we've been talking for 15 minutes. Do you see this move continuing here today? We broke out. We closed above 1,600. That's obviously a good story for the bears, but very quiet this morning. So where are we heading?
Let's just take a look at the only numbers that you have getting up here in this stratosphere. You got the close, 1608.50. That's your only number that's coming into play. Need to hold the close and then take a shot at Friday's high, which is 1614 and a quarter. That's your only identifiable resistance on the upside. Coming back on the downside, can throw a number in there before the 1600 level. Believe it or not, 1605.50 was the intraday low for Friday. So we'll keep an eye on that as minor support. If not, we'll be coming back down and perhaps testing the $1,600 level.
Well, that's our show for this Monday morning, and we'll be back with you guys tomorrow.